Howdy, my name is Kevin Leonard, the hardware engineer for Soar, and today I'm going to walk y'all through how to get all of your surface mount components using a stencil and a convection oven. So first off, we're going to build something like this. I used other boards that we had on hand. Essentially what we want to do is we want to be able to take our board and place it in this little template right here so we can lay the stencil down and it'll look good. So if you watch, we're going to take our board, we're going to place it in our template, and now if we put the stencil down over top, you can see all you can really see is the pads. So the next part is we're going to use this low temperature solder paste right here, and we're going to spread it all over these pads that we have exposed now because of our stencil. Once you've gone through and put solder paste on, you want to press down on your stencil and make sure that all of the pads that you can see are on your stencil have solder paste on them and are full. Like this one right here probably needs some more, so we're just going to take our squeegee right here and apply some more to it. So once we have all of our solder paste on and our pads are full, we're going to come over here and we're going to start placing components. The biggest thing to know about when you're placing these components is, one, it really helps to have tweezers, and two, when you put it down, it doesn't necessarily need to be completely straight. You put it down, and when you reflow it in your oven, that solder is actually going to grab the part and kind of center it for you. So it doesn't have to be perfect when you place all of your components. One major recommendation that I have when you're populating 5 boards like we are today is make sure you count out the number of components that you need for each board and then cut it, and you can place it at the top of the board. Keep them separate so then you can place it for each board and you'll know that you have the right number of components on your board. Once you have your boards completely soldered, you need to make sure that all of the components are on a pad. They don't need to necessarily be straight, but you need a component on all of your surface mount pads. Alright, so now we're going to be moving our board to the rack so we can actually go put it in the oven. So you just got to be very careful because none of your parts are actually put on here or stuck on here just yet. You didn't apply a lot of force when you're putting your parts on. So just be gentle, be careful, so none of your parts fall off of the pads where you want them to be. So our rack goes into the oven with our parts on, and we're going to do a convection bake. So we're going to close these doors, and right here you see convection bake. We're going to turn the temperature as high as it can go, and the 10 minutes doesn't really matter. We're going to hit go, and we're going to watch our parts bake. The biggest thing I'm looking for is these parts with the large pads right here, my power converters. I want those to be melted because those are going to be the ones that take the longest. So it's going to have to get the hottest for those. As you can see, it doesn't really take very long. We're still in the preheating stage, but some of our parts are already reflowed back there. So now we're just waiting on these big ones right down here. So as you can see, a lot of those components that weren't aligned before actually did get aligned. But one thing that you do have to worry about with the solder paste is there are some shorts now with some of our components. So you got to go in with a soldering iron after that and clean those up to make sure that you have good solid connections for your entire board. Once we've checked all those connections, we're ready to go and put on our surface mount components. And there you have it, 5 complete boards using a stencil, solder paste, and a convection oven.